Okay, so it's episode 180 of 2 Minute Tuesday, and in this week's episode, we're going to be doing a few questions and answers for clients that people have sent in over the last short period when we asked for people to send some questions in. So welcome to episode 190 of 2 Minute Tuesday, and let's crack on with it. So, the first question we've got is from Lars Hidberg in Denmark. That's a great start, isn't it? Apologies, Lars. What's the cost of living like in Spain? Well, obviously, it depends where you're coming from. In general, I think people would find that the cost of living, whether it be utility prices or the cost in the supermarket and things like this, in restaurants for drinks and meals, will be maybe cheaper than you would expect in the north of Europe. There are some things that I think you'll find maybe that are a little bit more expensive. So I've always thought that cars are more expensive here in Spain. You certainly can't negotiate with the dealers the same as you can, in my experience, in the UK. But the flip side of that is that the cars will maintain their value an awful lot better than they would, say, in your own country. There doesn't seem to be the culture of company cars, and when they flood back on the market, it lowers the price for lots of other cars. Whereas here in Spain, the cars can keep their value remarkably well. The next question comes from Emma Johansson, and this is: what are the key differences in the healthcare systems? Will I be able to access public or private healthcare in Spain? Well, so yes, there is public and private healthcare in Spain. If you're entitled to public healthcare, then in my experience, it's been excellent. I've used it myself, and friends and family have also used the system, and we find we're very lucky here in the Hondon Valley, for example. We have two doctors, and both are multilingual. They speak excellent English amongst other languages. The local hospitals are very efficient. They're very modern. They're new, well run, very clean, and we have found that the healthcare system here works better than other experiences we've had out of Spain. Let's leave it at that. There are also private doctors here, so if you need visas and things like this and you need private healthcare, then there are a multitude of companies that will take your money off you in order to return some healthcare to you. Next question is from Max Schultz in the UK. Do I need to speak Spanish fluently to live comfortably, or can I get by with English? Well, English, I would say, is probably the second language. That you will find an awful lot of people who English isn't their first language, whether it's Dutch or French or Belgium, Scandinavians, will probably have English as their second language. And so consequently, when you're dealing with businesses here, you will find a lot of them will have people that can speak English. As agents, when we recommend things like bank accounts to people, part of the recommendation we have is because of the ability that they have to speak English to you when you're first here. So my advice is always try and start in Spanish, and then if you fail, resort to the next best thing, which is normally English. The next question comes from Felix, and this is: what is the process for obtaining residency in Spain? Are there any special requirements? I could speak for about 90 minutes on this, because yes, there are lots of different aspects. Realistically, it splits down into two categories for residency. One is if you are an EU citizen, and one is if you're a non-EU citizen. So if you are the holder of an EU passport, then you have the rights to come and live and to work and invest money, and virtually the same rights as a Spanish citizen when you become a resident here. If you're a non-EU citizen, so you're from North Korea or the United Kingdom, then you will need a visa in order to come and live here. And depending on the visa that you get, depends on any restrictions that you have. So most people will come here on what's called a non-lucrative visa. This doesn't allow you to work, which actually leads on nicely to the next question, which is from Sophie Dupont in Belgium. How easy is it to find a job in Spain or start a business? So again, it depends. If you're an EU citizen, EU passport holder, then you can set up a business. You can do everything that you could virtually do in your home country. You're still part of the European Union. If you are a British citizen, as an example, or from North Korea, as I mentioned before, then you need a visa, and it's a lot more difficult to get a working visa. If a company wants to employ you, realistically they have to prove that there's nobody in Spain that can do the job that you're doing, and that's normally unlikely. And often it can be, if there's no one in Spain that can do the job, is there anyone in Europe that can do the job, before they can employ somebody who is a non-EU resident. So that's the long and short of it. Next question is from Anya Bauer in Germany. Where are the best areas to live for somebody from Northern Europe? And you're very, very simple. You need to live in the Hondon Valley. We've got everything here. You can be on the beach in 30 minutes. You can be in the mountains in 10 minutes. You've got beautiful villages, really nice, pretty, authentic villages with palm trees and lots of cafes and bars and restaurants. You've got all the big cities of Elche and Alicante, all within sort of 30 or 40 minutes from where we are here. So the long and short of it is you need to live in the Hondon Valley. Next question, Richard Stamp in the UK asks about the education system. They have children. What's available for families with children? So we have private schools in Spain, and we have public schools in Spain. So in the villages here, we have sort of kindergarten schools for very little children, and then when they get to sort of the secondary school age, then they will go to Aspe if they live in either of the Hondon villages. Got a brand new school here in Hondon. It's beautiful, just about to open. And then secondary school, they get the bus into Aspe and takes them there. And then we have universities in the local city of Elche and also in Alicante. And then there are what the thing to remember there, though, is that if your children are going to a Spanish state school, then they are going to learn the Spanish curriculum, and that's going to be in Spanish. If you, say, for example, sent your children to a private school, sort of in this particular area, within an hour of here, then some of those schools will teach the English curriculum, in which case they'll do, I was going to say O-levels then, but I don't think it's been O-levels for a long, long time. It was when I did them. They'll do GCSEs and A-levels, which might be easier if they're looking for university places in the UK. So there are a bit of diligent Googling will give you the names of all of the private schools that are available in the area. How do they compare to the UK? I don't know. I can't give you the answer on that. I'm sure there are government statistics that you need to look at. Next question comes from Hanneke de Vries. What taxes will I need to pay as a resident in Spain? How do they compare to other countries in Southern Europe? That's quite a long answer to give to somebody. You will pay taxes as a resident here. You'll pay income tax if you're working or you have income. There'll be property tax, as in like council tax. You paid road tax on your car, although it would be probably a fraction of what you used to pay in Northern Europe. We pay bins tax. If you go on the 2 Minute Tuesday website, there are so many videos about all the taxes that you need to be aware of when you're buying properties, selling properties, when you live here. So just type in tax in the search section of the 2 Minute Tuesday in the blog section of our website, and it will give you all the information that you need. Next one is from Lindsay Green in Worcester. What is the housing market like in Spain at the moment? Would you suggest I buy or rent a property? Well, I mean, that's totally up to you as whether you buy or rent. It's not as simple as it sounds, though. A new rental law came into operation in Spain recently, and It's designed to protect poorer people living in housing, maybe in the big cities like Barcelona and Madrid. But what it's done is it's meant that the landlords don't have any confidence in the law protecting them. And so now there is huge demand for rental property and very, very little supply, which has put the rental prices through the roof. And if you, again, do a bit of Googling and look at rental prices and how much they've increased in the cities, it's shocking. We found a similar sort of thing in the property market. So really from sort of 2006, when I first started selling properties, all the way through until just after COVID, it was always a buyer's market. And people could make offers and get a great deal. It's the complete 180 now. It is totally a vendor's market, and properties sell for at least the asking price. So really, if you're looking at renting, it's probably going to be a bit more expensive than you think. If you're looking at buying, the property market is very buoyant at the moment, so you're not going to be able to maybe snag the bargain that you could have 5 or 10 years ago, but there are still some great deals to be had. And when you compare the property prices here in Spain to maybe Northern Europe, then there's money to be saved. Finally, from Katarina Novak, what cultural differences should I be prepared for when moving to Spain? Cultural differences. I like to think that you should celebrate cultural differences rather than complain about them. But one of the things that I find, and I'm sure everybody who is non-Spanish who lives here will be nodding their head in a second, is roundabouts. For non-Spanish, roundabouts are a total free-for-all on the road. What lane you're in and what direction you want to go on the roundabout it's a lucky dip. But as long as you're careful, you're fine. But it's a free for all. Eating out, I think people's dietary requirements in Spain are 2 hours different to everybody else's. So it's not uncommon if you're going out for a meal in Spain in the evening with Spanish friends that you would be eating at 10 o'clock at night, and finishing in a restaurant around midnight. Queuing is optional in Spain. There can be a queue with people stood in it, and then somebody will walk to the front to ask the cashier a question, and then we'll expect to be served whilst they're stood at the front. So queuing is something that you need to take into account. The volume of talking is also interesting. If you're in a restaurant, they're noisy places. If you're in an art gallery, they can be noisy places as well. And talking speed, again, talking speed is, if you ever put the radio on when there's football or sport on, it's one man talking for 90 minutes without taking a breath. It's 1,000,000 miles an hour. It really is. It's quite fun to listen to. And that's it really for this week's or this 6 months Q&As. We tend to do them every 6 months. If you have any questions that are more specific to you and you want a personal answer to them, then please drop me an email and I'll happily respond to you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for the next episode of 2 Minute Tuesday. But until then, have a fantastic day. My details should be on the screen at the moment, so you can copy your information and let me know there. But let me know if you've got any questions, and we'll see you for the next episode of 2 Minute Tuesday in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, have a great day. Adios.